Hello, and welcome to day 4 of the Clinician Boss Network, and the first day that we're starting our deep dive into each one of our topics of this series. Hey, I'm Maggie Doherty, and I am your friend, pal, host, mentor, and coach over the next 12 weeks and hopefully more. So, this first week, we are starting our deep dive into insurance. It was the most requested topic, and people had the most things they wanted to learn. So, I figured, hey, let's start with this. So we are starting with the very first question that you need to be thinking about and considering. Which insurances should you be in network? So whether you're planning on accepting insurance or not, if you're in network with 5 insurance, 10 or 0, listen up because you're still going to find valuable information from what we're going to talk about today. So let's get into it. What insurances should you be in network with? How do you figure this out? I'm going to show you my philosophy and strategy for how to figure this out. So let's do some research and see what others are doing. So you can listen to this if you're driving, if you're on your phone, but ideally I'd love for you to be sitting down at your computer and doing this research along with me and just hitting pause on this video anytime that you need. So I'm going to share my screen and begin to show you guys my research process. So feel free to pause this video at any point. So what I want you to do first is pull up a window and I want you to search on Google Maps. So my practice is based in the North Dallas area. So we're in Texas, here's Fort Worth, quick geography lesson. Here's Dallas, and I see clients in this North Dallas area. So whatever area you see your clients in, I want you to pull that area in a map about this big. And we're going to be looking at what insurances are PCPs, therapists, and other dietitians that accept in our area. So you can go ahead and just search PCP, and it'll pull up a few different ones. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. Okay, and so we can see all these physicians right now. So you can either, one, pull up the primary care office that you see a doctor out of and pull up that tab, or you can pull up ones that you already know those physicians are referring to you, you've heard of them, your patients are coming from there. If you have no idea at all, what I like to do is see how many reviews. So this company has about 400, this one has 16, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the one that has the most reviews, which means the most clients are going to there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with this Benttree because they have good reviews and I know they already refer to our practice. And so you're going to pull and you're going to open up their website. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can find what insurances they accept. Some websites are harder to find than others, but generally where you're going to find it is if you go to patient resources, and here we see insurance. And awesome. So now we kind of have a cheat sheet. Hey, in this area, these are all the insurances that are accepted generally, as long as this website's updated, and some ones that we consider. So there's a couple that I recognize that you guys may as well. So Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, this Baylor Scott and White is specific to the Dallas area. So if you haven't heard of them, that's probably why. And so now we have this. You can pull up a couple different ones. For this video, I'm just going to keep this one. And then the next thing I want you guys to do is search therapist. And what I want to do is find a therapist group, ideally, that we know accepts insurance. So there's a lot here. So you can do that same thing where you can kind of click and see how many reviews there are at different places. I personally know there is a group that has multiple locations in the Dallas area across Texas that accepts insurance. And so they have a lot of therapists. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one as the example. And so same thing, we'll pull up that therapist website. We'll go to resources and awesome, there's an insurance page. And so now here we see all of the insurances that they accept. So again, you can pull up a couple different ones, but your homework right now is to search on Google or your search engine for a PCP and a therapist and find their insurance page. So the next thing I want to do is I want to see, okay, we found what doctors are doing, we found what therapists are doing. What about other dietitians? Because then again, there's always going to be some insurances that have medical or mental health benefits, but not nutrition. So it's really helpful to figure out what are the dietitians already accepting in our area. So I have a practice down here and then one over here. And I already know there is a practice over here that's one of the bigger ones in the area. And I know they accept insurance. So let's see what this group is doing. So sometimes this is a good example of where you have to go through a couple different pages on a website to figure out where they accept insurance. But again, let's go to resources. That's generally where we're going to find it. I did this research earlier, so it's going to be a little bit easier for me to find. And so they say right here, we work with your insurance, and we have this list right here. Okay, so now what we have is we have a list or a kind of a cheat sheet for doctors, therapists, and dietitians. Now that we have those three lists, we're going to use ChatGPT to help us figure out, hey, out of all these insurances, what are the ones that are most common? So now go ahead and have each of those tabs pulled up. Go to ChatGPT, and I want you to type what insurances are listed on all three of these lists below. And what we're going to do is we are going to copy and paste. I'm going to give you this script from each one. So on this first page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of this, and then we're going to paste that into ChatGPT. And now we're going to get list number 2. We're going to pull up this other one, copy, paste, and now we're going to do list 3. And so now we're taking out the manual labor of us doing it, and we're leveraging AI to help us. So now we're going to tell ChatGPT, hey, here's all of these insurances. Which ones are common across all three of these lists? Why do we want to know that? Because that's going to show us what the most common ones and which ones that we should likely be in network with. And so ChatGPT pulls this all together, and they said, let's identify the insurance that appear on all three of these lists: Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, United Healthcare. So what's great about this is, hey, those are the top 4 payers, at least in Texas. And so what that means, okay, if these 3 different type of healthcare providers are all in network with this insurance, that should be one that we think about. So if you do this and you notice you're not in network with one of these, maybe you should be. And so this is a great way to figure out which insurances that you should be in network with. Sometimes you may notice that there's insurances that you've never heard of, and that's a great opportunity for you to get in network with them. What you want to make sure that you're doing is that anytime before you get in network, you want to check the nutrition counseling policy before blindly getting in network. The reason why is, let's say you're an eating disorder dietitian and you see Medicare is listed across all of these. And so you apply and you get a network with Medicare. And then you realize Medicare only covers diabetes and renal and not eating disorders. And so it doesn't really help you as a clinician. So if you get in this spot, here's an example of what you can do. Again, we're going to pull up Google or whatever your search engine is. And we're going to say, oh, you can see that I typed a couple of these. So we're going to say Aetna nutrition counseling benefits. And then typically you're going to be able to find it right here. And so then we'll pull up and it'll tell us what they do and how they cover nutrition counseling. And so this can help you realize, oh, I actually shouldn't get in network, or I can. So once you find a new insurance that you want to get in network with, go ahead and type it in on Google, check what their nutrition counseling policy is, and then do the same thing on that RDs Who Bill insurance page. So this is your homework for today. Go pull up Google, search PCPs, search therapists, search dietitians, find out what insurance they accept, copy and paste that into ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT what insurances are across the board consistent, all those 3. ChatGPT will tell you what insurance you probably get a network with. If you've heard of those, awesome. Tomorrow, we're going to start the credentialing process. If you haven't heard of them, take a pause, do some research, search on Google to figure out their nutrition counseling benefits, search on that insurance provider group, and then we're going to go from there. But that is your day 1 lesson on figuring out what insurances you should get a network with. I will see you tomorrow, and we are going to start a little bit of credentialing.